You understand? I could have saved you a lot of time and money if I would have introduced you and Leah back then.
So thanks for nothing, I guess.
Tony Stewart, we got video in front of us that I came across a couple of weeks ago. I was going to text it to you. I said, screw this, man. I got to show this to you in person. See if you get, I could have saved you a lot of time and money with your previous girlfriends there, Tony, because if you watch this.
There's not much difference between a top alcohol flat bottom boat and a top alcohol hydro, but as you can see on the back of this flat, there's a huge difference. This is a cavitation plate. Now, Tony, what does this do?
These control the ride of this boat. This whole plate system is connected to my foot up in the capsule. This is going to.
She's already said about 5 things that I don't even know what the hell she's talking about.
Cavitational plate.
These are what are going to dictate a 640 run versus a 680 run.
So are you saying that this is pretty much how you control whether or not this boat can do a wheelie down the track?
Absolutely.
You understand? I could have saved you a lot of time and money if I would have introduced you and Leah back then.
So thanks for nothing, I guess.
You're fresh into a season in Top Fuel. Has there been a time yet where you've said, "What the freak am I doing?"
I say that about every other morning when I wake up. I'm like, what did I sign up for?
Seriously, you mean that?
It's not that bad. It's starting out, it was pretty rough, and honestly, it's literally the hardest thing I've had to deal with is getting the information that my eyes see, getting my brain to process it as fast as it's happening. So literally getting your mind to catch up with the car. So starting to get there, as long as the car does what it's supposed to do, we won't have any issues going down through there. It's making sure that if you're behind that car and it does something and you're way behind, you're going to have a hard time catching it. So the more I can be on top of it when it happens, the easier it is for me to catch it. Ultimately, with these things, with the blowers and everything, if you don't catch it quick enough, you can blow them up pretty quick. So just getting your brain to catch up with the speed of the race car and how quick it accelerates is really the biggest factor.
It took you, I would imagine, some time to communicate properly with Zipadelli, what the car's doing, what you should be doing. How close are you now with your crew chief being able to speak the same language and communicate?
Working on that process, but the good news is it's way different here. With the drag racing, they have so many data channels that they can see more than I can normally tell them. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of times so far in preseason testing and the first 2 events where he's seen something and he's asked me about it. I'm like, well, yeah, I didn't really think much about it, but yeah, I felt that. So, as time goes on and like I said, once my brain starts catching up to the car a little better, then as I catch up, then it's going to allow me to start expanding the information I'm, feeling and seeing, and it'll make that process a lot better with the crew chiefs.
To jump out like you did at Gainesville, all things considered, it's a hell of a first race.
It doesn't show a hell of a race on the sheet.
But dude, come on.
But it was pretty cool. I mean, to go up against the best lever in the class with Justin Ashley and, to have to pedal the car shortly after we left the line, that was something that I haven't done because you don't ever practice that in testing because, again, it can blow it up pretty easy if you don't do it right. So we don't practice it, and that was the first opportunity I had to pedal it, and I think we had a little luck on our side with that too, but I caught it pretty quick and got back in the gas.
Did you have that conversation prior to that run, like you may need to pedal it or does it just come naturally?
I mean, when it's elimination day and race day that if you have to pedal the car, you got to do what you have to do. But at the same time, knowing that we were the first pair and knowing that it had rained the night before and none of us knew what the track was going to be like. So Justin's team had the same issue that we did. Not knowing what it was going to do, and we both had to pedal because of it. And it made for one heck of a race. We just were on the wrong end of it.
How close are you to grasping this thing?
I think every run it's getting a little closer, but it's not something that I don't think this is going to be something like driving the Cup car was, where it was like a light switch that I struggled and struggled and struggled, and all of a sudden one day it clicked, and when it did, then everything exponentially got better. So this is just a little bit at a time. I tell people, I'm like, you can go to Martinsville or Bristol in happy hour. Back when we practiced in happy hour, you could run 100 laps if your car was pretty decent. On a good day at a test session, you're only going to get 4 runs, maybe 5 if they're really on top of it and ready to go at the time the track opens. So it's hard to get in a rhythm as a driver. It's not, you could go to any other racetrack in any type of car and you make a mistake, you fix it the next lap.
Yes.
Immediately the next lap. It's an hour and 20 minutes before you make that next run. So it's hard to get in a rhythm when it lasts less than 4 seconds and you got to wait an hour and a half to do it again.
When we first met 20 plus years ago, that Tony Stewart running drags Tony Stewart at 35, how would you have handled these race cars and being able to handle losing and not being at top of your game?
Probably wouldn't have been as excited to do it because of the fact of, if it go, literally on Sunday, I mean, Gainesville was a perfect example. We're first pair of the day. We start racing at 10 in the morning, and at 10:05, we're starting to load stuff up.
Yeah.
It's like, dang it. So, I don't think I would have handled it quite as well as we do now.
Who do you throw helmets at in drag racing?
Well, the good thing is I don't have to throw helmets anymore. Everybody thinks I enjoyed that, and I hated it.
Well, I mean, back in the day, but
I hated it back in the day. I don't want to throw helmets. I love helmets. I mean, I have a helmet collection. I collect helmets. So if I get that mad that I'm throwing a helmet, it's not a good situation.
As an owner in the NHRA, owner in NASCAR, I would imagine you brought some different eyes to the NHRA on maybe how to do some things a little different and better for a team and maybe the series in and of itself.
Yeah, and I work close with NHRA, and I'm on the Pro Board, which is the Professional Racers Organization, and so it's kind of fun to work with NHRA as a sanctioning body, and they're always receptive to ideas. So there's not a lot of series that are receptive to ideas from the competitors, but NHRA is a lot different from that standpoint. They may not agree with you, but they'll always listen to what you have in mind, and that's what I really like about being over here.
Do I ask you about the Racing Alliance in NASCAR?
The what?
The Racing Alliance in NASCAR?
I'm at an NHRA event. I come to NHRA events, so I don't have to think about it.
That's the whole idea. Which you've talked about that. What a relief it is.
Yeah,
at times.
It's just different. There's not a driver in NASCAR that would stand at the ropes for an hour and sign autographs.
Why? Why wouldn't they do that?
Because you have so many things that you have to do, and where my debrief with the crew chief, there's not a lot of information for me to give them right now until I get dialed in a little more with the race car. But we're only, like today, we're only on track one time, so the rest of the day you have time when you're not busy. You have time to spend with the fans, and it's actually, I'm in a way better spot with dealing with race fans. It's fun to listen to their stories, and we watched you back here, and I talked to a guy that was my second to last sprint car win out here in Arizona.
Nice.
Was there for it, and then the next person was at the Copper Classic and watched me win in a midget, and the next guy watched me race IRL there, and next person was talking about my cup wins and this and that. So it's fun to listen to their stories and what these fans are into, and it's very diverse here, I feel like.
That's true, man. Watching you through NASCAR, it's like you couldn't stop. You just couldn't stop. And your PR person's like, come on, keep going, keep going. Here, I saw you out front for 30 minutes. That's not.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to do it here. And just I think to support the NASCAR fans, it's really hard at a NASCAR track because you want to see your drivers. It's not great access to the drivers now because, garage passes really don't mean much anymore because they're not driving in and out and having practice. But, we have that opportunity to spend with the fans here. And I think because there's so much access that the fans are pretty calm and where the NASCAR fans, they got to be aggressive, which wasn't exactly fun to be about. But at the same time, you understand why they were aggressive like that because they don't have many opportunities to get next to the drivers. So when they get close, they do everything they can to maximize it.
What's a good year for Tony Stewart for 2024?
I've been asked that a lot. I honestly don't know what the right answer is. I mean, we haven't had much luck the first two events. We've had weather issues at both races. The track's kind of been a moving target at both races. And, for the crew chiefs, I mean, trying to tune this car with my body weight versus Leah's has been a little bit of a challenge as well. So it's trying to figure out what the combination is that's just going to give us a base package to work from. But, I think for me personally, I mean, the first and foremost thing is that I'm doing everything the right way when it comes to driving. And it doesn't mean just apart from when you hit the gas till you throw the chutes. It's all the stuff. It's the procedure. It's the warm-ups. Even the warm-up here, it's important to do everything the same every time. So, I think doing things the correct way and the right way and being consistent with it is a big factor. But when it comes to the results, I'm really not sure what to gauge it off of. I mean, this team had a shot at winning the World Championship last year, so they're more than capable of doing it. And, I know after Pomona, the crew chiefs were a little dejected about, where we're at. performance-wise, but they put their hand on my shoulder and they're like, "You're doing a great job." So it's like, that makes me feel good as a driver. It gives me confidence. Now it's just a matter of really, as a team collectively figuring out what this car wants for setup and working off of that.
Have you given in to cutting the umbilical cord?
He wants the kid fresh and washed out, bundled up before he sees it.
I know you want the car wash to happen first.
This is how this is going to work. I am going to be in the lobby watching Sports Center with a little mini cooler. I'll have my beverages, my sandwiches.
Guess who else said that?
Who wants to bet?
Hey,
Who wants
I'm
to
not
bet?
telling you.
He's got.
Let this thing happen. I don't care who cuts the cord. Just cut the cord. If you're dragging that thing around, but that's not going to.
Dude, you're in charge of your life. There's no way that's going to happen.
Cut the cord, run it through the sprinkler system, clean the thing off, bring it up in a towel. I'm ready for it.
You're going to have headsets on.
Headsets
telling
on.
the doctor.
If I was in that room, I would be passed down on the floor. They're going to be tripping over me trying to work on her.
You're going to have headsets on telling the doctor where to go and how to get there and how often.
You're
All right.
spotting.
Mark this down. Start the betting on whether an over-under of whether I'm going to make it or not make it.
Yeah, I'm not super stoked about it. I mean, she's getting me closer to being at least in there. They either need to put me in a wheelchair or they need to put me on a bed next to her, because I'll pass out when if and when this happens. So,
Well, we started it way back when, and I'm sorry.
yeah, no, I get it. It's my view hasn't changed a bit. Her view, on the other hand, has not changed either. And it's amazing how hormones, the cards that she throws on the table, it's like, I didn't know there were that many cards in the deck. So,
What are you going to say, though?
right. That's my
What are you going to
point.
say?
Yeah,
It's over.
I don't get to win very many of
It's
these
over.
battles right now. So.
Now that's a good-looking tire from General Tire, the official tire of the ARCA Racing Series. You can't get that one on your hot rod, but you can get now through the end of April 4 qualifying passenger tires and get up to $70 back the Visa prepaid card. We can all use a little bit of cake in our wallet, in our purse, in our pockets, right? 4 qualifying passenger tires get up to $70 back from General Tire. General Tire, over 20 years with the freaks, and of course, General Tire delivers.
At Lucas Oil, we take pride in creating problem-solving products to make your car care easier. We protect your vehicle and make it run longer so you can focus on the things that matter most. Lucas Oil, it works.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Worldwide Technology Raceway on June 1st and 2nd, 2024. The time to get your tickets is now.
Let's go! Yeah!
For only $10 down, you can lock in your seats for an incredible weekend of family fun, featuring the Enjoy Illinois 300 and the Confluence Music Festival. It all adds up to one amazing party. Go to WWTRaceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.